Hello.
Hi, Gary.
I'm Gary Haines. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So we are sitting in your beautiful gallery. I'm surrounded by so many beautiful pictures that you have taken, and each one has something that draws you to it. So I mean, this is beautiful. So let's get started with an introduction from you. Like, how was it growing up in Colorado like, and how did your love for nature begin, and how did you start as a photographer, your life as a firefighter, everything. Give us everything.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Colorado, Colorado native. I grew up in Littleton most of my days, most throughout the years, and then as I got older, I just had a love for the outdoors. And then from that, I thought, you know, when I was very young, the family used to go on fishing trips and all kinds of outdoor hiking events and stuff like that. So I developed this really love for the outdoors. So then my mom, she was a former artist and an oil painter. So one day I ended up in the hospital with an appendicitis.
Okay.
They had characters on the drapes of the hospital room. For some reason, I just picked up I had a little piece of paper and a pencil. I started drawing the characters that were on the drapes of the hospital.
Wow.
That's how I discovered I had art talent. So then that went forward, and I started doing a lot more painting, learned how to do painting and more drawings and stuff like that, because I discovered I had this art talent that I never knew I had.
That's amazing. I mean, that
Yeah,
moment that you had.
And then one day I just picked up a camera, cheap little Kodak point and shoot cameras. I was started photographing things in the outdoors, and I thought, this is really cool.
Oh.
But I wanted more detail in the photo, so that eventually led to using bigger cameras. So then I got 35 millimeter cameras, still shooting on film because digital wasn't around at that time of year. So
What time was it around? Like
that
what?
was when I was in grade school, junior high school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were very young.
Pretty young,
when you
yeah.
started that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was like in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, right around that era. So then I started taking a lot more pictures with the bigger 35 millimeter camera, and I loved all the detail that I was seeing. It's like, wow, this is really cool. So it kind of sprung me forward, and I was more interested in shooting photographs then of Mother Nature, because that's what I had the love for.
That's amazing.
So then I just kind of worked my way up, did a lot of that, shooting of the outdoors and wildlife, things like that, and but.
Wow. Okay. So so did you start with like just nature or animals? Like you graduated to taking animal photos, or was it first just trees and flowers and?
Oh, in the beginning, I was kind of shooting a lot of the stuff with wildflower stuff like that. But then I became really interested in wildlife. So I found myself buying more expensive lenses so I could bring the animals close to the camera and bringing those close into in the frame. So then, as I got older, I thought I need to take some workshops. I'm probably missing the boat. I'm learning a lot more about photography.
That is smart. Yeah.
So I signed up for some of the different classes and took some photography classes from different photographers who were kind of my mentors, and then started getting bigger lenses because I wanted to get in closer to the animals.
To the animals.
And I was just kind of tied. I was just kind of drawn to these cute little animals. And I ended up having some of them even a little bit of a relationship between me and the animals once in a while. So
did you find that they felt safe around you? They came closer to you?
some of them would come, I mean, little fox pups, sometimes they're very curious. So they wanted to come up a little bit closer to me and check me out. I was like, what are you doing? So I said, I don't want animals to get closer, used to being close to people. So I tried to shoo them away a little bit and keep our distance. And then, but I was getting some amazing photographs of little fox pups and all kinds of different little critters. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. A random question. Were you ever face to face with a bear? Because there's so many black bears in Colorado, right?
Not that close.
Okay.
I came within As I got older and started taking more workshops and photo safaris and stuff like that, I went on a trip up to Alaska to photograph grizzlies at Katmai National Park. And the tour guide that I was with at the time, we were on a bear trail. We walked around this trail and there was a big sow, which is a female bear, and we were within 35 feet of that bear. So, but when you're out in the wild like that, you want to make noise so you don't startle the animals.
Okay.
Because you never know what the wildlife's going to do.
True.
So we saw the bear and we just kind of backed up and respected the bear's space. The bear walked off into a meadow and kind of went on its merry way. So, but there's a lot of, you could get yourself in some pretty tense situations when you're out there photographing Mother Nature because you really don't know what you're going to run into.
Makes sense. Yeah, but I must say that you're really brave to be able to do that, and also that makes me think about your experience as a firefighter. That's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, how did that happen? How did you decide to become a firefighter?
Oh, I decided, I started looking into my future, and I thought, what do I really want to do with my life? And I enjoy helping people. So I thought, well, and I was, my dad had a construction company, I was working for him. And I thought, well, I don't think I want to do this all the rest of my life. So I thought maybe I could be a firefighter. I applied for to be a police officer, a law enforcement officer. That really didn't pan out like I wanted it. So I thought, no, that's not the road I want to take. So I decided I want to be a firefighter. So I went and applied as a firefighter in my early 20s and waited for about 3 years and finally got on a department called Castlewood Fire, which later turned into South Metro Fire.
Okay.
So I got hired July 1st of 75.
Oh.
And then throughout my whole career, I drove fire trucks and all kinds of other apparatus and ended up retiring in 2007 after 32 years on the department. So it was a fun career.
Fun career. Okay. Only brave people will say that. Do you wanna do you have like an incident that you want to talk about, or whatever you want to talk about? Because firefighting, what I imagine as a regular person is, you land up in an unfortunate situation, you are trying to help all of these people and they're like, there's fires, intimidating to say the least, right?
Oh yeah, when you're a firefighter you come across all kinds of different situations and different types of calls. Most of the time we're helping people, trying to get into a safe place, make sure they're not in a dangerous situation. Most of the calls that we have are like medical, heart attacks, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay. But once in a while we'd come, we would get called out for big fires, building fires and stuff like that, where you have to call in other departments for multiple alarms. So probably one of the worst calls I had was when I was on a commercial structure fire early in the morning. Okay. And we had to call a lot of units in on that because it was a commercial building. But the only problem with that call is we lost one of our firefighters in that fire, which was pretty tragic.
Understood.
So, but that's probably one of the worst calls I've ever been on.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a fun job, and I love helping people out. So.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. So coming back to photography, you're the artist in you kind of started like from that hospital bed, drawing all of those images on paper, and then you picked up the camera, as you said, and then as you grew older and you were firefighting and doing all of that, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like photography brought you peace. That's why you stuck with it, right?
It definitely does. Photography is maybe like golf. When you're out there shooting photographs, you have to concentrate on what you're doing.
Yes.
So you just it's really actually kind of peaceful.
Peaceful, and helps you live in the moment, right? Because you cannot be thinking about anything else but that shot and that. I'm guessing this. Am I right?
Yeah, when you go out and you have to go find something that your eye's attracted to. I could go out, I can go down an old country road, and I'd be looking around to see certain things. All of a sudden, something in that scene would catch my eye. So when you're an artist, certain things, your eye is attracted to certain things. So I would go down the road, and then next thing I know, my eye would be attracted to certain colors in the bushes or whatever, or
Okay.
certain patterns, and then I would stop and get out, walk up and down the road, and try to find out what I actually wanted to capture
Uh-huh.
when I was shooting the photographs. So
Wow.
it's all about the lighting, all about the colors, composition, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of that in detail soon. Tell me, has nature, especially you spent more time in Colorado, I'm guessing, taking pictures than anywhere else?
Mostly in Colorado.
Okay,
But I travel internationally, a lot also.
Wow, okay. So has nature changed? I'm sure it has. Like, are there like lesser trees? Are there like, or it's to you it's the same? Like the things that you used to see as a child, it's still the same here?
Oh yeah, I think as I became more and more of a professional photographer, I just started seeing things different. And I started really respecting Mother Nature and what she'd created and what I want to share with other viewers. So when I look at a scene and shooting a photograph, I want the viewer to feel like they're right there next to me and having that experience. So.
Wow, okay. It's so exciting to talk to you. Okay, so what are the countries that you have been to where did photography take you?
Oh, it has taken me to Africa, Iceland, been to Alaska quite a few times,
Oh,
and a lot of states within the United States. So.
okay. I mean, there could be a podcast for each of those countries separately, but
Yeah.
which country, I mean, were you I'm sure you were in many beautiful places, but has a place stayed with you? Like you went there and something struck you and you're like, oh my God, this might be the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my whole life. Has that happened to you?
I think when I did the Africa trip in 1997, I was there for 10 days at a photo safari.
Okay.
And some of the amazing things that I discovered when I was in Africa, it took me 3 days to get acclimated to the climate. Because you don't really believe you're in a country like that and seeing all these wild animals. So it's like, wow. Then all of a sudden you start smelling all the wild smells and all that kind of stuff, and then you realize you're in Africa. You're out here where all the wild animals are, and it's like, holy cow. So probably one of my most exciting experiences when I was in Africa shooting wildlife is when a cheetah jumped on the hood of my Land Rover. And it was like 6 feet right in front of me, and I'm standing in the back seat up through a roof hatch photographing her. And my driver was a former park ranger, so he said, be aware that these cheetahs will jump on the hood because they want a higher vantage point to look for food for their cubs. And she had 3 cubs, so.
Oh, wow.
So I'm standing in the back seat, picked up the camera, put all the settings on the camera that I want in case that happened. Mm-hmm. And I no sooner had that all dialed in, and I turned around and the cheetah was already on the hood. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm standing up there, grabbed the camera, composed the shot, had a flash on there to illuminate her eye and freeze the motion in case she did move, and got 3 beautiful shots.
Oh,
Looking into her eyes and her face. So
that must be
that was the most
thrilling.
exciting shot I ever took on the whole African trip.
Oh my.
Being that close to a wild animal like a cheetah.
Yeah.
So.
Cannot get closer. Like that is like right here, right?
Because when the flash, I didn't know what she was going to do when the flash went off to illuminate her face. So I didn't know if she was going to jump on me or what.
Oh, I'm so glad she didn't.
But
Okay, did you?
she just stood there and looked into the camera,
Oh,
got the shot I was looking for, and then next thing I know, she jumped off the hood.
she jumped
So,
off the hood.
yeah.
Okay.
So split second, things just happened at split seconds like that. So
Yeah, and I mean, her cubs, were they around? Did you see them?
they were down in front of the Land Rover, not too far from her,
Okay.
but they were pretty cute. So.
Wow, and what other animals in Africa?
Oh, elephants, rhinoceroses, lions.
So did you take pictures of them as well?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Rhinoceros.
All kinds of birds, but seeing the big elephants was pretty amazing. The African elephants, so they were exciting to see.
Wow.
So
I mean, that's an experience of a lifetime, I'm sure, right?
oh yeah, yeah. Going to Africa, if you ever get an opportunity to go to Africa, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay, that sounds beautiful. And uh, so this was. Would you describe this incident as a dangerous situation? Because you seem very comfortable with a cheetah jumping right on your hood. So I was wondering if your adventures took you to a place where you found yourself like very close to a very dangerous situation, or like, because wild animals, anything can happen anytime. So were you like ever in a dangerous situation like that?
I was out photographing. I was up at one of the parks, Rocky Mountain National Park, or one of those parks, and I had come across. I was out in this marshy area photographing something. Next thing I knew was I had two young moose calves that were in front of me. So I was photographing them, but I was also aware that if there's two moose calves around, mom's got to be around somewhere too. So the next thing I know, the mom's appearing, and she's giving me warning signs that I shouldn't be there, that she was very uncomfortable with me being there because she had her calves close. So I kind of backed up and actually had to run around a tree because she started coming too close to me. I said, this is not a good situation. So I kind of ran around the back of a tree so she wouldn't charge me.
Oh my God! And
But that was a pretty close encounter with a wild animal. So.
And they're very, very protective of their.
Oh yeah, same thing with
calves.
grizzly bears. You don't want to be anywhere near a female bear, which is called a sow. You don't want to be anywhere close to your cubs when the mom's around. So
Yeah.
highly protective.
Okay, so one rule of thumb would be make noise as you go in the wild, because so that the animals can go away. Like, don't startle them. Try not to startle them.
Yeah, let them know that you're around,
Let them know.
so you don't actually scare them.
Yeah, that's a
So,
good tip.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you spoke about Grizzly, and your gallery is named Grizzly Creek Gallery. So how come the name, and do you want to tell us a little bit about the story behind your gallery? Like, how did everything come about?
Well, I was looking for a name for my gallery, and I thought, well, I want something that kind of fits with the outdoors. And since I photographed grizzly bears, I thought that would be kind of cool. It sounds like a cool name. I came up with Grizzly Creek Gallery because we have Grizzly Peak in the area, and then Grizzly Gulch. And there's actually a Grizzly Creek that's in Glenwood Canyon. So I thought, that sounds kind of a cool name for an art gallery. So that's how I came up with that name.
It is. It is very Colorado-like, you know?
It fit the outdoor
Outdoor
theme, and I wanted a gallery that kind of featured the American West stuff. So and fit the mountain theme really well.
I agree.
So that's how I came up with that name.
Yes, yes. And when did you decide, like, how old is the gallery?
I've had the gallery here. This is the 26th year that I've had the gallery here. So
Okay.
it's been an adventure.
26 years.
Running a gallery pretty much by yourself, that's a big challenge. So.
Oh, and you and Natalie manage everything by yourself. And before starting the podcast, you were talking about how you do your all in-house prints, and everything is done by you. So do you want to tell a little bit about that? What it is like? What's a day in your life like as a beautiful gallery owner?
Oh, it can, well, since I have all this art background, I went to art classes and learned how to do everything. I worked in galleries to learn the trade and worked in frame shops, so I pretty much do everything in-house. I have my own frame shop, I have my own print shop, and now I even make my own coffee mugs, so. But I can control the quality a lot better, but it's always an adventure. You never know what you're going to end up with or what you're going to do from one day to another.
Yes.
So.
Oh, that's the dream.
But part of the joy of having your own gallery, you get to meet a lot of people. People get to see your work,
Yes.
and they say, everybody that walks in the gallery, they go, wow, look at this. So, and they get lots of nice compliments. They said, wow, this is the nicest gallery we've ever looked at, been in. So.
Yes, I had a similar experience. So I was here for the Christmas market, and it was around Christmas. It was so cold that day, and we entered this gallery. I love art, and entered this gallery, and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I wonder if the owner wants to do a podcast with me. So you're right. I had a similar experience. The photographs that I got of yours, one was of that owl in Canada. a white owl that you took
Oh,
a
one of the
photo?
snowy owls.
Snowy
yeah.
owls.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's such a beautiful picture. I was showing it to my family. I showed it to my dad, and
Oh, thank you.
that's amazing. And yes, so you really have the art in you, and you went to art school too, right? It's
Oh yeah, I've been doing art since I was in probably junior high school. Followed art all the way through most of my life because my mom was a former painter. So, but I learned a lot being an artist, and then became a photographer. When you became a photographer, then you can apply everything that you learned in art school and photography as far as composition and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So.
yeah. And as they say, arts feed the arts, so it's kind of fluid, right? Like when you are doing some form of art, it's easier to glide into another form of art, and especially if it's directly related, like in your case, right?
Oh yeah, And once in a while, I'll have a sketch pad. I'll be sitting out there if I'm waiting a long time for that right conditions to come in so I can photograph. I'll pull out a pad and I find myself doing some sketching while I'm waiting. So, but I don't do too much of that anymore. It's mainly just capturing the images through the lens.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds good. Yeah, and you are in a position with all of your experience and knowledge that you have to maybe give us some tips for any aspiring photographer, any amateur photographer. What are the mistakes to avoid, or what are the things you were talking about lighting and all of those technical aspects of it? Do you want to throw a little bit of light on that?
Yeah, I would. A lot of people say, "Well, how did you become a photographer, and what are some of your tips?" And I said, "Well, if photography is your passion, follow your passion," which it was with me. So I just jumped in with both feet and made it happen.
Yay!
So, but that's what I recommend for other individuals who want to take up photography or art or whatever they want to do. I would say, follow your heart and follow your passion. Just go for it.
Okay.
So yeah.
So a follow-up question to that is, some people think, oh, I'm not very good at technical stuff, so maybe photography is not for me. They might have an artistic bent of mind, but they are nervous about how a camera works, like the technicalities of it, the aperture, the lighting, and all of that. So what is your suggestion for people? Because I believe those things can be learned. So if you think you have the art in you, you should go for it, or the technical aspect of photography is as important as the artistic aspect of it. What do you think?
A lot of the cameras are so sophisticated, there's so many bells and whistles on today's camera and digital age that you just have to kind of go through the manual. And what I recommend is just going out there and using the camera, get familiar with the camera and know how it actually works. A lot of the cameras have automatic settings on them. I don't recommend using automatic settings because the camera's actually in charge of you instead of you being in charge of the camera.
Yes.
So I recommend putting everything on manual mode and learn that way. So as far as your f-stops and your shutter speeds and all that kind of stuff. But all you have to do is really pay attention and read the camera manual and to know how that camera actually works.
Yeah. And you would get better over time. Like that shouldn't stop you from pursuing photography, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, don't let the camera intimidate you.
Yes.
You want to be in charge of the camera and
You
show
wanna
the camera who's the boss.
Yes,
So-
yes, I love that.
Another thing that's really important in photography is always get yourself a really good sturdy tripod. Don't buy a tripod that's really flimsy.
Okay.
Don't buy a tripod that has any more than 3 legs on it
Okay.
because it'll be a lot more stable. If you have to bring it up at a higher elevation to get to the shot that you're looking for.
Okay.
So,
That's a
but
good
most of my shots, probably 90 to 95% of all my photographs are produced on with cameras on tripods. Because by having a tripod, it makes you slow down and pay attention what's in the frame when you're shooting the photograph. It slows you down and you can pay attention to having distractions around the edge of the picture. So.
Okay. Wow.
And sometimes you really need the tripod because you're shooting stuff at like a quarter of a second, half a second. So, you can't do that if you're hand holding the camera and get a sharp picture. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And also, there are few tips on Instagram or other social media where I just when I was researching for our podcast, I came across you should apparently hold your breath when you're taking a photo. Is that a myth, or does that actually work?
It does help sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
There's been occasions where I haven't had the tripod and said, I gotta get this picture.
Okay.
So you just kind of hold your breath and try to you have the camera in your hand, but try to lean up against something where it's a little bit more stable. So you're not just holding the camera like this.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Any other technicality or artistic thing that's coming to your mind right now, which any budding photographer should know? We can circle back to that. But is this one of your favorite cameras that we have sitting here?
Yeah, this is one of those cameras you don't really want to put try to handhold.
Okay.
Because this camera weighs 7 pounds.
Oh.
So this is a medium format digital camera.
Okay.
And the reason why it's a medium format, the bigger the sensor or the image area, the bigger you can blow them up. It's 51 megapixels. It's a digital camera instead of a film camera.
Okay.
So, but it's pretty easy. I mean, it's got a little bit of a weight to it. But you can shoot stuff with this, handheld. But I prefer to put this heavy thing on a tripod. It's just a lot more stable.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
because of the reasons you just explained. Yeah.
And if you want to hold it, you can.
Can I? It's like holding a baby. Oh, it is heavy.
So that's a heavy camera. So
You gotta keep it on a tripod. Oh wow. This looks like a film camera. Like it's so big and almost like a film camera. Thank you.
yeah, the other ones that I used to photograph from were big medium format film cameras too. So and they're about the same weight as this one is.
Oh.
I have a panoramic film camera that I shoot all these beautiful panoramic images with.
Okay.
That's on film. That piece of film is 7 inches long by about 2 3/8 inches wide. It's one shot. I don't stitch my photographs together. It's all on one big piece of film. So, and you get 4 exposures per roll.
Okay.
And then when you shoot the image on film, you take that piece of film, get it processed through a photo lab, and it's on slide film, not print film. There's a difference. So when you get your images back from the photo lab, you put them on a light table, look at them, and then figure out which one you want to put in production.
Oh.
So when we have the image that we're looking for, we take that piece of film and we scan do a high resolution scan of that piece of film, convert it to a big digital file, and we can blow them up 4 foot by 12 foot if you want them that big, and don't lose any of the resolution. So.
Those are like that is information collected over a lot of years and a lot of hard work, right?
Yeah. So.
Wow. Okay. And this is your favorite picture that you have taken, correct?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite photographs that I produced on the panoramic camera called Winter Serenity, and it got the name just because that day was so serene. That was photographed on a place called Last Dollar Ranch, which a good friend of mine owns that ranch, and that's where they filmed the Marlboro commercials.
Oh.
It's got 400 acres, and I just lucked out and happened to have fresh snow 2 days before I actually went there and photographed the ranch. So.
This is a beautiful, beautiful picture, and the snow is like, I mean, there's no trampling on it yet. Like this, yeah. So it's so beautiful, and the sun, the way you've captured the sun on the mountains, and yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
In this particular shot, I waited for the sun. It's a sunset shot, and then when you go to art school and learn different compositions, and of the images, you always want to have what we call a rule of thirds.
Okay.
And we think about lines in the photograph too, like this I lined it up where that part of the fence was in the right 1/3 of the frame.
Okay.
And then this is what we call kind of a leading line, which you want to put that towards the front of the photograph, which creates depth.
Okay.
And then another thing you want to think about is the lighting. So the lighting was coming out of the west, which produces all these really nice, beautiful shadows coming across the scene there. So and that creates depth as well, and gives you like a 3-dimensional look to it.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. So this is a panoramic?
That's what we call a panoramic photograph.
Okay. And the way you take it, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't do it in parts. You do it like you move the camera, or
This is one fixed, it's a fixed lens.
Fixed lens and
Yeah,
covers in.
it's just
okay.
one lens, which is a real wide angle lens, which
Yeah. Oh, what you just explained.
on
Yes,
the panoramic
yes.
camera,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
was equivalent to like a 28 millimeter
Mm-hmm.
lens, so you get that width that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, the rule of thirds.
but yeah, there was a contest called through one of the companies that produces all my and where I buy all my paper, photographic paper from.
Okay.
And they were having a metallic photograph contest where we printed on metallic paper and entered in the contest, and this got entered in there, and I took a first place award. So I'm pretty
I'm not
happy about
surprised.
that.
Yeah.
So when we print that on metallic paper,
Yeah.
it just like glistens. It makes the snow look like it's shining. So,
Oh, I'm sure metallic paper would do that actually.
but that's another reason that was one of my very first, my favorite photographs on the panoramic camera. It's just got that gorgeous look to it. So.
It is, and it just makes you feel like I just want to have a cup of tea and be somewhere here and just like, so it makes you feel like as you were mentioning that you want anybody who's admiring your photo, you want any photograph that you've taken, you want them to feel like they are there.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
that way with this photograph.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know what you mean now because I feel like I'm there.
But I really like the fence. The fence really draws your eye into the mountains. It's a leading piece where it draws you right into the mountain peaks in the background.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. What's this?
And this is part of the other rest of the fence.
Okay.
The only tracks that are in there's a few tracks up here. Those are my tracks that I put in there when I was snowshoes. When I had snowshoes on, I walked all the way up there to see if I had a shot of the rest of the ranch, which was at my backside. So.
Oh.
But that shot wasn't available, so I had to make sure I stayed in the same tracks when I went back to capture this image.
The things that we do for art.
So the things that photographers have to do to produce their photographs is another whole story. So,
Wow. Okay.
So.
A question popped in my mind. For example, if you are working out, for me it's dancing. I love dancing. So after a good dance workout, I feel great. So I'm guessing after a good photo shoot, do you feel the same way? Like, are endorphins rushing in your mind, or you're too tired? Like,
Yeah.
what's that experience like?
Yeah, when you actually are done with the photo shoot and you think you have really captured what you wanted to capture, you have a really good feeling about that. It's like, wow. Same thing when after you were dancing, it just kind of energizes you. So.
Yes. Oh wow! So all the hard work feels worth it, because of that feeling.
And then the experience of just being on location, being able to capture something like that from a photographer's point of view, it's like, wow, I can't believe I had that kind of luck, and the lighting was perfect. So.
Yes, and also, this is a great picture. No wonder it won the award and everything. But everywhere I see in your gallery, and I hope our listeners visit your gallery online, grizzlycreek.com, right?
GrizzlyCreekGallery.com,
Yeah,
yep, that's the
Grizzly
website.
Yes, so that's a website, and you can see some of these pictures because everywhere I look, it's so beautiful. I love the wildflowers of Colorado that you have captured in the picture there. I will show that on screen, but it's so great to be here. So midway the podcast, I have to say thank you for doing this with me, and I really appreciate it.
It was great to have you. So.
Thank you. Okay, so do you want to, since we're talking about everything photography, including technicalities and everything, do you want to wrap it up with a step-by-step process, or however you want to do it, about how do you plan a photo shoot? Like, what are the things that one should keep in mind? As you were talking about it before the recording happened, like you were talking about step-by-step process of planning a photo shoot, things that you have to get ready the previous night, stuff like that. Like, yeah, if you want to talk about it.
Well, sometimes I'll look through different magazines, books. I might see a photograph that I really like.
Okay.
And that kind of like inspires me. It's like, wow, that's a beautiful photograph. I might want to go check that out. So I'll try to do my homework, figure out where that photograph was taken. And then you have to try to find it. Sometimes it's really hard to find photographs that other people have produced for magazine shots. So I'll go figure out where it is. Most of the time I can figure it out. Being a Colorado native, I know where most of these places are because I've been there already before, but I would go back and check that location out and said, I'm gonna go take a trip there. I'm gonna go check this place out. I need to figure out if it's gonna be a sunrise or sunset shot. So you kind of do the planning ahead of time
Okay.
and figure out where you want to go at what time, and also during what time of the year. Like, so is it gonna be a spring shot or a winter shot, or when we have beautiful Colorado fall color season.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just have to kind of plan around the months and the seasons and figure out what's gonna produce the best photograph. So
Okay, so the first thing is find a place that you really want to go capture, and then decide whether it's a sunset shot or a sunrise shot, and plan accordingly.
right, yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all about the lighting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
lighting is probably one of the most important key ingredients in producing a successful photograph.
Successful photograph.
So
Okay. Fine art photograph.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. You're so excited about when you're talking about, anything related to photography. So I just wonder, like, how writers have writer's block. Do photographers have something like that? Like, how do you stay creative and inspired? Because it's not a good idea to wait for inspiration, right? Like, you have to kind of go seeking it out. Like, how do you do it?
sometimes I think photographers go through the same kind of situation. We always go through these ups and downs. Sometimes we'll get in a rut and we'll figure out, it's like, well, I really don't feel like, I'm not in the mood to shoot photographs for a while. Like I'm not really into it. So sometimes I'll just find something else to do. But photographers go through the ups and downs just probably like writers do. You kind of have to be in the mood to go out and shoot a photograph.
Oh.
If you're not really in the mood to go out and capture a certain scene, then you don't pick up the key elements in the photograph. But you want the viewer to experience what you're going through.
Yes.
So you try to get out of that little slump or that downtime that you might have, and then just wait for it to change. Wait till you're in a better mood, and then you'll go out and look in magazines, go look at other photographs, and
Yes.
maybe just take road trips and see what's out there. And sometimes that's enough to inspire you to get the camera out. So,
Yeah.
but,
That's good to know, because the culture there where I come from, you push yourself. It doesn't matter whether you're in the mood or not. You have to get something and you do it. But sometimes it is a little different with art, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you take a few steps and art will take a few steps. Is it kind of like that?
kind of like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, there'll be times where I'm kind of down. I'm not really in the mood to go shoot photographs. So you have to kind of bring yourself back up, and when you get back in the mood and get inspired, I'll look at different things to kind of re-inspire me to get out there and look for
Yes.
new scenes or new places to photograph. So.
I think the key message here, what you're saying is expose yourself to other people's work, expose yourself to new experiences or a cherished old experience, whatever. Like, just go out and get some experience and let your mind relax. And you never know, like, it can come to you when you're least expecting it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Sometimes I'll go out and look at artwork at other galleries, other photo galleries. I'll go take a look at other people's work, and some of the top photographers who are kind of my mentors and I have followed over the number of years. I go look at their work and I thought, wow, that's amazing. So sometimes that's all it takes is to re-inspire you to get
Yes.
back out there again. So.
Absolutely. And people, it depends from person to person, because sometimes when I go to art galleries, there are some people who would just like briefly look at every picture and every painting and they'll just move on, and there are some people who would spend like minutes, sometimes like hours just like soaking in a particular painting. And so it depends, I think, on how you are with, like, what's your relationship with art. But tell me, what's the longest time that you have stared at a photograph for whatever reason, whether you're trying to figure out what I could have done better, or you were just like, what's the longest
Like
time?
out on location?
Yeah, sure. Like something that you didn't even realize that it was hours, and you were so engrossed in it
Oh yeah.
that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe it's 4 hours. That kind of
I've
thing.
been in that same situation. I've been on location studying different things and looking at different things in the mountain ranges or wildflowers or foreground images, whatever it might be. You get so in tuned with Mother Nature that time just flies right by, and the next thing you know, it's like 6 hours. It's like, holy cow. But there's times I've waited 5 or 6 hours for the clouds to roll in to get to capture the image that I'm looking for. So you have to be really patient as a photographer.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I can't help but think that there's so much talk about mental health these days, and rightly so. But somebody who's in nature, you know, for so many hours, at least, you know, a couple of hours per week, nature is therapeutic, right? Like, I mean, that's what I feel whenever I'm out in nature. I don't get a lot of opportunity in Denver. I mean, there are parks and everything, but so that would be really therapeutic.
Yeah, photography is very therapeutic.
Okay.
Like if you're kind of stressed out, probably the best thing to do is just go out in Mother Nature, go on a hike.
Yes.
Go get your fishing pole out, go fishing for a while. When you're out in Mother Nature, it just calms you down and makes you relax. And it's like you're doing something that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And it definitely very therapeutic.
Therapeutic,
So.
yeah. But something tells me that you love fishing. Do you remember the first fish you caught?
I think I do, yeah, with my dad, yep.
Yeah?
We were out in a boat, or we were up at maybe Granby or somewhere that we were fishing for salmon
Oh.
that during the salmon run. So
Okay.
I remember all those wonderful moments when I was out fishing with my dad and my 2 younger brothers. So,
Wow.
but yeah, definitely remember those days.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, those moments from our childhood, like I remember bicycling with my dad when biking with my dad. It was raining, and you know, we were in my hometown, which is Jamshedpur, and we just took our bikes and we went out in the rain, you know, and we just like kept riding. So that is one of my favorite memories.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's so amazing that all of us get to have at least some memories like that, you know, in life.
Yeah, if people really get into a situation where they really get stressed out,
Yeah.
that's it's a great time just to go out in Mother Nature and relax,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of calms you way down. But it is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Okay. This is so lovely, you know, to talk to you about everything. And I was wondering if you ever kind of, I mean, what has photography taught you about life? Do you think it has had an impact at the way you look at life, at the way you experience life?
I think being a nature photographer, you have a lot of respect for Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
You see sometimes you see bad things, sometimes you don't see really good things. But being out in the world and experiencing all kinds of different situations, you have a lot of respect for Mother Nature and what's been created. So you just see things. You walk down country roads or backcountry trails, and you just come across these magnificent things that you'd never know were there. It's like, wow, look at that. So, but you experience a lot of things that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah,
So.
you're right. And since you are in the moment, you notice it more and you appreciate it more, right? So Gary, tell me, what's the most beautiful place in Colorado that you have found and you recommend everybody to go there at least once?
Oh, I think my favorite place in Colorado that I travel the most to is southwest Colorado, the San Juan Mountain Range.
Okay.
So you have a lot of 14,000 foot peaks down there. And it's like the southwest Colorado is like the Tetons of Colorado. I mean, we have big mountain ranges, beautiful wildflowers during the summer months, and and then beautiful rivers, all kinds of great stuff down in southern Colorado. But depends kind of, that's my favorite part of the state, just because it's more wildish kind of
Okay.
setting. So.
Yeah, because what we know as so I have been in Colorado for I think 3 years now, and I have experienced most of the, for the lack of a better word, touristy places like Estes Park, and so. But I often wonder, there would be some kind of untouched, like a beautiful place in Colorado, because wherever you look around in Colorado, it's so beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
So I often wonder, like, can I is is it accessible? Like, how do I get to a place which is not just where I don't see like a lot of tourists? It's ironical because I myself am a tourist, but then I want to feel like one with nature, and there's like no one around. It's just me and nature.
Yeah, sometimes you can find that stuff just by going down old country roads.
Old country roads?
Or I'll carry maps with me. I'll say, oh, where does this road lead? So I'll go check it out. It's like, oh, it looks like it's going into a kind of a really pristine area. It might not be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So I'll go down these country roads and I find the most amazing places just by doing that, exploring.
Exploring.
So,
okay.
But yeah, go out and explore Colorado. We have a beautiful state.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
I tend to try to stay away from the big resort towns. It's too many people for me. I like places that are a lot more peaceful and less stressful.
Yeah, so you
So.
grew up in Littleton, and now you live in Georgetown.
Full time,
And,
yeah.
yeah, and so tell us about your beautiful city. I mean, it's when I came here for the Christmas market, it was like there was like roasted chestnuts, and there's like the smell of coffee and hot chocolate, and I was lucky to hear the choir singing, some of those Christmas songs, and it was just so nice. It's I felt like this is like a slice of heaven, like a tiny town where you get the best of everything. So that was my perception. What do you want to tell us about Georgetown?
I wasn't really familiar with Georgetown a lot in my younger days, but I got involved with a group of people that wanted to come up and start a co-op gallery.
Yes, you don't.
So I came up with them and kind of explored the town and thought, wow, this town is really a little gem sitting here. I've always been attracted to historic mining towns and stuff like that because they have so much character.
They do.
And Georgetown back in those days, when I got into doing gallery work, it was noted for its fine art galleries that we have in town. So I came up here, checked it out, got in with a group of people and started a co-op gallery. So then I ended up staying here. It's like, I love Georgetown. It's a great little hidden mountain town. It's gotten a little bigger now since than when I first came up here. But I really like Georgetown. It's just got that quaint little feeling to it.
Yeah.
So like the Christmas market, when you were talking about that, Christmas market's always the first 2 weekends in December, and it's just a very special time of the year.
Yes.
So, and we get to share that with all the other visitors.
Yeah,
So.
and it's just like an hour away from Denver, which makes it like so much easier to come and experience it, and it's not like too far away. And yeah, so I think we have come to the end of our podcast. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so, not at this time. I think we covered all kinds of different subjects.
Yeah, just give me a second.
So.
I'll make sure that I've done justice to your time. Do you get attached to your cameras? I forgot to ask that when we were talking about this little beauty.
Oh, do I get attached to cameras?
Yeah.
I think I do in a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
You always have
difficult
a favorite camera.
Yeah.
This one here, I shoot most of my landscapes on.
Okay.
Just because the digital aid's a lot more convenient, and you can produce them and put them in production a lot quicker since it's digital versus film. So, but yeah, I use this a lot. But I think my favorite camera is probably the panoramic camera that I shoot, which is made by Fuji. So, but yeah, that produces just beautiful photographs. Every time I come back from a photo shoot and I've used that camera capturing Mother Nature's beautiful scenes, I can get those pieces of film back and put them on the light table, and I see one of those, it's like, oh my gosh, what a killer shot. But sometimes you get them and they don't pan out. You have to plan another trip, go back there and shoot it again.
Yes.
So.
Yes, yeah. But, wow, what an experience.
So.
That's awesome. And do you have any event or anything that you're planning that you want our listeners to know?
I probably have a few trips planned. I need to get out and shoot some more winter scenes. Okay. Because I love the snow, and you can between the sun and get those beautiful shadows when you're shooting sunsets, sunrises, trees and the snow, stuff like that. So I'll be going out hopefully sometime this month and capturing those images I'm looking for, which will probably be in southern Colorado, southwest Colorado, just kind of depends.
Okay.
I still have research to do on that.
So that sounds great. And so we can expect new pictures in a couple of months.
Yeah, probably more new pictures in a few months. Yeah.
In a few months.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah.
you
Pleased
for
to
your
have you. Thanks
time.
for doing that. That was fun.
Yes. Yay. Okay. That was
How was
so
that?
good. I mean, you are a natural. Let me tell you that.